Hi guys, welcome. Today's practice is just a short 30-minute practice, get you moving a little bit. Today we're going to focus on some movement in the spine, a little bit of opening of the hips, and balance and back bends. Hopefully it'll be a little bit playful. I hope you enjoy, and all you'll need is a mat. If you don't have a mat, some clear open space, maybe a blanket. When you do the balancing things, being more on flat floor would be easier to balance. So just grab what you need and let's get started. All right, everyone. Today we're going to start in a child's pose. So you can make your way to sort of a kneeling position. And you can bring your feet together, knees as wide as the mat, and just crawl your hands forward in front of you. Let your forehead rest down onto the floor. And if that's hard to do, just stack your palms one on top of the other. Give yourself a little bit of a lift, and your head can rest right on your hands. Beginning with some easy breath. So at first, simply noticing the pace of your breath. And if you can make it a little fuller, a little bit longer, matching the length and strength of each breath. Do your best to relax in the posture. Our body holds tension in different places. Sometimes that tension comes from stress. Other times the tension comes from muscular tension, muscular work. So here I just want you to feel how easy your breath can move. And if you can sense any of those spots of tension, right, where you might be holding some tightness. And then through your easy breath, see if you can let that go. Right? Just get a little bit heavier. Release the work a little more and just let your weight settle onto the floor. Give in to gravity. And give me one more full breath in and out. With your arms extended out in front of you, come up to tabletop. Stacked on all fours. Spread your fingers wide, gripping down through your finger pads and starting with simple cat-cows. Arc the back to look forward. Press through the floor and round it out. Moving with your breath, inhale, arc the spine to look forward. Exhale, push through the earth and round. A couple more of these. And feel free to move at the pace of your breath. Whenever the breath transitions, that's when you start the transition in your movement. Come back to a neutral spine. Sway your hips off to the left and take a peek over your right shoulder towards your heel. Switch to the opposite side. Hips to the right. Gaze left past your shoulder. And just a few of those back and forth. We first worked with the flexion and extension in the spine with the cat-cow. And now more of this kind of vertical movement. All right, come back to neutral. Tuck your toes under, lift your knees, send your hips back for downward facing dog. When you arrive here, you could bend one knee and bend the other knee. Just explore any sort of tightness and sensation that might exist in the back line of your legs. As you're ready, rise onto your tiptoes and take a walk forward, feet to the top of your mat. Hands come to your shins as you lengthen your spine, halfway lift. Fold forward over the legs and you can soften your knees here, a little bend. Come all the way up to stand, sweep your arms high to the sky. Hands meet in front of your heart. Again, inhale, extend the arms over your head. Hinge at your hips to bow forward. Hands back to the shins, lengthen your spine. Place your hands on the floor, bend your knees if you need to, and step your left foot back. Drop your back knee down to the ground, extend your arms up and over your head. Spread through your toes. And notice if your pelvis is kind of spilling forward, right? The tendency is to arc into back bend as we go deeper in the front knee. So we'll try to come out of the depth a little bit, bring your hands onto your hips, and tip your pelvis backwards, right? Draw the belly button in as if you're trying to flatten the front of your left hip. Then, maintaining that position, guide the knee deeper, and this should give you more sensation in your left quad, that left side of the leg. Extend your arms once again up. And then we could play with a little bit of back bend. Look up, reach up, 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 and allow that to arc your spine. Guide your hands back down to the floor. Swing your right leg back to tabletop. Stack your joints. Press the tops of your feet down into the mat, and then we'll extend the left leg back behind. You could keep the toes tucked at first. Once you're stable, the left toes will lift and hover off the floor. Extend your right arm straight out in front of you. Again, you notice if back bend is coming into play, instead draw the navel up and in to flatten the pose. Take a breath in here. Exhale, curl elbow to knee, round the back. Inhale to lengthen out. Twice more, curl in. Inhale to lengthen. Last time, curl. Inhale to lengthen. Keep the leg lifted, but return your right hand to the mat. Bend your left knee, kick up, up, up through the heel. Draw your knee to your nose, round the back. And then this time it's as if you're trying to touch your heel to your head. Look forward, give into the back bend. Again, knee to nose, round. Heel to head, look forward. Last time, knee to nose. Heel to head. Return to your tabletop. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. And then you notice, maybe you can tell the difference between one leg and the other, maybe not. Rise again onto tiptoes and take another walk forward. Feet to hands. Flat back, hands to shins. Bow forward to fold. Rise up, reach your arms up. Hands to heart, exhale. Moving through the other side, inhale, extend up. Exhale, hands through heart, fold forward. Halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Hands find the floor. Again, you can bend the knees if needed. Step your right foot back and drop your back knee down. Begin with the arms extended overhead. And then once again, to play with the pose, let's guide the hands to the hips. You'll see how if you bend deeply into the front knee without controlling the pelvis so much, the tendency is for it to spill forward. So we play by coming out of the depth, tipping the pelvis backwards. Navel draws in, tailbone goes down, and you get some sensation in the front of your hip and in your right quad. Maintain that work, navel in, as you come forward through the front knee. Again, this should give you more in your quad, not so much more in your back. Once you have the legs, the arms extend. Invite a little bit more lift and brightening of the heart. Lengthen through the sides of your waist and arc back. Hands come back down to the mat. Sweep your left leg back to a tabletop. In your stacked position, the right leg extends behind you, toes grounded at first to lock in the belly, lift the navel, belly button. The right foot will then hover off the floor. Left arm extends forward and you're pressing down through your left shin and foot to stabilize. Draw your knee to your elbow, round the back. Inhale to lengthen. Again, knee to elbow. Inhale to lengthen. Last one, curl it in. Lengthen out. Return your left hand to the ground. Bend your right knee rather. Kick your heel upwards towards the sky, and then curl the knee into the nose, round your back. As the heel goes up, gaze goes forward as if you're touching your heel to your head. Again, round it in, knee to nose. Send it back, heel to head. One more, knee to nose. Heel to head. Come back down, knee to the floor. One little pit stop in child's pose. Knees wide, toes together. Sink your weight back. Walk your hands back towards your knees so you're sitting in a hero's pose. You could always stay with the knees wide or just bring those knees together. From here, roll your shoulders up, back, and around. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Now you can stay here with your thumbs and fists resting on your low back. You hug the elbows back to open the chest. And if you have the room for it, let's try straightening out through the arms. Again, you're observing the body, so the tendency might be to stick the heart out, right? To pop the rib cage forward. Can you instead knit the ribs in, try to stay more neutral in your spine and rib cage, but still extend the fists down. Weave your fists over to your right hip. Take that right elbow and point it to the back of your room. And then we can drop the right ear towards the right shoulder for a little stretch in the neck. Bring your head back up to neutral, and we'll just swap that fist over to the left hip. Rain the left elbow to point towards the back of your room, and then it's left ear, left shoulder. Take big, expansive breaths to exaggerate the sensation of the stretch. Let your head come back to neutral. Release the hands. Give those shoulders a little bit of a shrug and a roll. And then we'll make our way back to hands and knees. Tuck your toes under and lift to downward facing dog. If you want to take another walk forward, you're welcome to. Otherwise, you can try jumping. Come up onto your tiptoes. Look forward towards your hands. Bend your knees a lot so your hips sink back, and then it's a little jump forward. Hands to shins, lift halfway. Bow forward, twofold. Rise to stand, extend the arms up. Hands to heart on empty breath. Bring your feet to hips with distance apart. Shift your weight into your left foot and draw your right knee up towards your chest. Balance is tricky. Focus on your foot, the standing foot. Spread your toes and notice where the weight is spilling off. Is it more towards the inner arch of the foot? Is it towards the outer edge of your foot? And can you try to make that a little more even? Now, slow motion, send your right leg behind you, but try to hover the toes off the floor for a moment. Bend your standing leg, reach the right toes back, 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 then land on the ball of your back foot. Crescent lunge, the arms extend overhead. Similar work here. Little bend in the back knee so we can once again draw the navel in, try to flatten the front of your right hip. At the same time, we're stacking the front knee and ankle. Reach up through your fingertips. Little arcing of the spine, little bit of back bend. Come back up through the chest, hands to heart. See if you can come back, knee to chest. Shift forward, right knee comes up. Cross your ankle past your left knee and squat low for your figure four. Make sure your right foot stays flexed. That's going to protect the ankle, knee, and hip joints. And then you'll see how much lower you can get. If you'd like, feel free to hinge and bring your hands down to the ground, focusing more on the hip opener than the balance. And then rising back up, hands to heart. Chair pose, step 2 feet to the floor. Little space between your heels with your big toes touching, and the arms will extend once again over your head. Make sure you can see your toes. We want to prevent the knees from going forward beyond, and instead sit the weight back like you're actually reaching for a chair. Take another full inhale, reach through the fingertips. Exhale, bow forward over your legs. Extend the spine for a half lift. Fold forward once again. Rise all the way to stand, arms extend. Hands settle back at your heart. Bring your feet back to hips width distance apart. This time, weight into the right foot, the left knee comes up into your chest. Stay as tall as you can on your standing leg, lengthening from the root that is your foot up and out the crown of your head. Get taller. Now we'll try the transition slow motion. Left leg begins to kick back, and as you reach the toes back, bend your standing leg, reach, 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 and slowly land. The arms extend over your head, and you explore the position of your hips, the position of your legs, by including a little bend in the back knee, tipping the pelvis backwards, drawing the navel in. And if you can maintain the work in the pelvis, you can start to move the back leg towards straight, right? You should feel that giving you, again, more sensation in the quad, not so much compression in the low back. Little bit of brightening, little bit of back bend. And then once again, engage the belly, bring your hands in front of your heart, and try shifting back to your balance, left knee into your chest. Cross your left ankle past your right knee, sink down to your figure 4. And again, you have the option here to stay put or to fold and get your fingertips down on the floor. Wherever you are, maintain depth in your seat. That's going to make the sensation of stretch stronger. Coming back through the balance, hands come to your heart. Upright through the spine, 2 feet down for chair pose. Extend your arms over your head. Take another full breath in. Exhale, bow forward to fold. Half lift. Again, fold forward. Rise up, sweep the arms up. Hands to heart center. Once more, feet to hips width distance apart. Shift your weight into your left foot, right knee to chest. Take your transition again to Crescent Lunge, bending through your standing leg, reach the right toes back, and land. Arms extend overhead. Set your base strong in the legs. And this time, the right arm's going to drape down by the side. We're going to shift the weight forward to come into our dancer. As you come forward, kick your right heel to glute and catch the foot with your right hand. Same actions of drawing the belly in to try to flatten the front of your hip. Then you'll kick gently into your right hand to lift the right leg back. If you would like, you can hinge forward and try to deepen your dancer. A little bend in the standing leg can help catch wobbles, but then you'll see about straightening out through the standing leg. Can you bring the knee to chest, come back to balance, hands to heart, 2 feet to the floor. Now if the balance is tricky, don't worry about it, right? It's called yoga practice for a reason. We're just playing with it. Day by day, the balance will start to get a little better. Some days balance is just off, and that's okay too. Let's bring those hands back to heart center and shift the weight to the right foot. Left knee comes up to your chest. Slow motion transition. Reach your left toes back, bend the standing leg, and land. Arms extend. So we need our base to be strong and grounded so we can play and move around a little bit more in the upper half. Spread your toes, send your left arm down by your side, and then it's a little bit of a launch forward. Bend the left knee, catch the foot with your hand, either edge, inner side of the foot or the outer edge. Start by standing up tall, engaging the belly to flatten the front of your hip. Then kick into the left hand, guide the left foot high, and choosing to hinge if you prefer or like. Keep lifting upwards, like your toes could slide up the wall behind you. And then keep the balance. Bring your left knee to chest, hands to heart, 2 feet to floor. On a breath in, extend your arms high. Breath out, bow forward. Hands to shins, lift halfway. Place your hands down on the mat. Step back to your downward facing dog. Drop your knees down to the floor and guide your knees as wide as your mat. Take your right shin forward and come to sit down on your hips. So you've got this kind of star sit going on. Left shin is behind you, right shin is parallel to the short edge of your mat. You'll then sit up tall and start to fold forward over your front shin. Feel free to stay propped up on your forearms. Maybe you can make a little bit of a stack with your fists, one or both, and set your forehead down on it. Bring yourself back upright. To switch sides, the hands are going to come forward, and you're just swiveling the shins. Left shin comes in front, while the right shin is more back behind you. Sit up tall, and then fold forward over your front shin. Same rules apply, making a little pillow if that would be helpful, or just simply staying propped up on your forearms. Last few breaths, make them big through your low belly. Walk back up to a seat. Swing your right leg out in front so you're in a cross-leg position. We're going to make our way down for a little bit of rest, a little Shavasana. If you'd prefer to do that in a seat and do your seated meditation, you could sit on a pillow, or if you have props at home, just something to prop your seat up. Otherwise, we're going to lay on down. Have your feet out in front of you. Grab behind your thighs and just help yourself to roll all the way down onto your back. Once you get down there, decide if you'd like feet as wide as the mat with your knees falling in together. You could also do the opposite with your feet together and the knees draping out wide. Otherwise, the traditional corpse pose with your legs long. Arms can go wherever you like. Close your eyes. And come back to the place we began. Focusing on the movement of your breath and the weight of your body. We spend a lot of the day, a lot of our time in our heads. And so this is a chance to separate your physical body, your rambling thoughts, and more of that which is your consciousness. That subtler spot, the light inside of you. Be still and quiet. And when you need to return to movement, you'll listen for my invitation back. Shavasana. Begin to take deeper breaths, filling up your chest and belly as you inhale, and softly releasing on your exhale. Invite in little movements through your hands and your feet. And then eventually, you'll draw both of your knees into your chest. Roll your way off to your favorite side and just give yourself a moment in stillness. Gently press your way up to an easy cross-like seat with your eyes closed. As you arrive, bring your hands together to touch in front of your heart. Bow your head down, showing honor and respect to yourself. Choosing to move today, to spend some time with yourself and getting to know your body a little bit better, getting more familiar with the movement of your thoughts, and spending time doing something to better yourself. Tapas is one of the ethics in yoga, which means self-discipline. Tapas is believing in ourselves. It is loving ourselves enough to take a step forward, to create routine, to ignore the voice that tells you you can't or leads you towards distraction. You are in control of your destiny. Remember your power. We'll close our practice today by bringing thumbs to third eye at our forehead. We bow to the yoga practice and to ourselves. Namaste.